Hello, welcome back to the Saba Show. Now, a month ago, I made a video called rating the Brooklyn Nets off-season so far, and that video did very well. You guys seemed to like it, so I thought I'd make a bit of an update, since I hadn't made one for about 4 or 5 weeks. There's a few things that have happened, so I will, let you know of all those changes that have happened in one video. We begin today's video by talking about the two-way contract that we've signed. Obviously, there's 2 spots open. First up is Kessler Edwards. We signed him to a 2-way contract. That happened on August 16th. So obviously, all these things that have happened after I posted the first Brooklyn Nets off-season video. But we've signed him up to a 2-way contract. He'll be in and out of the NBA. He'll be playing a lot of G League minutes, probably just developing his jump shot. Obviously, you can see there's a bit to work with, as we saw in the Summer League. He's obviously got defensive capability, a lot of length, a lot of size, in terms of height, but that jump shot just needs a bit of work. So he'll be able to slot into our team, I reckon, in 2 or 3 years. If that doesn't work out, he's not really that locked in to a contract, so it'll be easy to get him off our books. But yeah, I think that's a really intelligent signing, because I believe there is a place for him in the team, at least in the upcoming years. And now we take the time to see who we lost in the last month. Reggie Perry, I think he's probably the forgotten member of who left the team. His qualifying offer got rescinded, so he was originally a restricted free agent. He's now unrestricted and can go to any team. But look, I mean, I don't think anyone will want to get him. But, because we drafted him, we do have some rights in terms of what we can do with him. We can sign him up to a G League spot, I believe, if we want to do that, or give him a 2-way contract, I think. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility there, but I don't think Sean Marks is going to bite on Reggie Perry and sign him up, because I think he's had a relatively good chance to show what he's worth, and evidently he hasn't shown enough. Another victim of just having too many good players in the team was Alize Johnson, and he was a name that was up in the air as to what his future was going to look like about a month ago, but he has been waived by the Nets and picked up by the Bulls, so he will have opportunity there, at least more opportunity than he did at the Nets. He showed what he was capable of. I think he had a couple double-double games in terms of points and rebounds. So he is capable. He's got a decent floater. I mean, it's a bit inconsistent, but, he'll be able to offer something for the Bulls. That was a 2-year, $3.6 million deal. But, yeah, I think the Bulls have got a bit of a bargain buy here. Look, I don't think he's going to play an instrumental role in this Bulls team, but, I think he'll get some minutes somewhere, at least. As I said, more minutes than he did at the Nets. And probably the headline trade, it's not really a headline trade, but we got rid of DeAndre Jordan, finally. And this is good for a number of reasons. As you can see here by the graphic, we lost 4 second-round picks, cash considerations, which was $5.78 million, and DeAndre Jordan. And we also gained Sekou Doumbouya and Jahlil Okafor. Jahlil Okafor has been here in the past, but, much like the first stint he had here, he had no opportunity. So he's actually been waived by the team, because let's face it, there's no opportunity for him. But Sekou Doumbouya, he could get a spot. He could get a spot on the team. That's a bit up in the air. We'll discuss the whole roster situation a little bit later. The Nets were owing him $20 million over the course of 2 seasons, and look, he was rotting on the bench, not really doing anything. And when he did come on the court, his work ethic was a bit questionable. So look, I think for, what we gained something, and there's a bit of intrigue because we gave up 4 second-round picks and gained a 20-year-old that has potential, and he hasn't shown it at Detroit, but maybe he can show it here. Maybe that's a project that Sean Marks is willing to be a part of. That development journey, because we've been renowned in the past for our development, so maybe this could be the place where Doumbouya's career gets back on track. But I think the bigger headline here is getting rid of that shitty DeAndre Jordan contract. And then we look at who we've signed, and these 2 signings I mean, you can't get more veteran, more experienced than this. Both players on the veterans minimum. We have LaMarcus Aldridge and Paul Millsap, and that is going to really strengthen our big stocks, or our big depth, which has been a problem in the past. I mean, Aldridge will play the center position. We've seen what he can do. As you can see in the graphic, he's wearing a Brooklyn Nets kit, which, I mean, it indicates he's been there before. He's been at our team before. It wasn't too long ago, but he retired. Now he's back. So obviously he enjoyed what was going on at the organization, and if he was fit, maybe we could have had a better opportunity at winning the title. Paul Millsap, I mean, he's been a part of defensive teams before. Both of these players have been all-stars. I mean, they're quite a few years removed from their prime, but they can still offer something. Like, even if they only offer, 10 points a game. 10 points a game is pretty good. I mean, 9 and 4, 10 and 4, something like that. I mean, I don't know how many minutes these guys are going to get. But regardless, their experience is invaluable, especially in the locker room as well. If there's any, disjointedness, lack of chemistry, whatnot, I think these guys are here also to help with that, and getting the team back on track. But that hasn't really ever been a problem for this Nets team. These are two really intelligent signings. As I said, they've got a lot of experience under their belt. They know what they're doing. They're not going to take an irrational shot. They'll be pretty efficient on the court, I could imagine, especially with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden running around. So they could be a part of a lineup that also consists of the big three. But yeah, as I said, two very good signings to improve our big man depth. And as we did in the last video, we have a little depth chart, and this one is obviously updated. Let's have a look. We have 3 point guards, 3 shooting guards, 4 small forwards, 4 power forwards, and 3 centers. So as you can see here, we have a total of 17 players right now. Kessler Edwards, obviously on that 2-way contract, and DeAndre Bembry is the only player on the roster to be not fully guaranteed, meaning he hasn't been paid all of his money. So if anything, he's probably the most vulnerable to get let go. Because, yeah, well, as I said before, we will explain the little roster situation that we're going on later. But, I mean, just looking at it in its whole right now, you can see this team is extremely strong. There isn't really a weakness anywhere. The point guard depth is good. The shooting guard depth is probably our weakest point, but James Harden will run the points with the second unit as well. So that's probably the place where we can afford to have less depth. Then in the small forward spot, I mean, we don't have, a standout player there. But in saying that, they are all equally capable NBA players, except for Edwards, who hasn't played a minute in the NBA. And then this is a drastic improvement on last year. The power forward and center positions. No more DeAndre Jordan to worry about. That power forward spot is just looking stacked of competition. Obviously, Durant's going to get, he's going to be the starting power forward, but it's down to Griffin, Millsap, and Johnson as to who really takes charge in that group. Even if we do get injuries, we're covered. We really are covered, which is really good. It's an all-round, really good team that has a lot of experience under its belt. So, yeah, we've got that on pretty much every line, and I mean, this is the absolute dream for Cam Thomas and Day'Ron Sharpe. Even Nicholas Claxton, with all the experience they've got around them, the mentors they've got around them, they're going to be able to fast track their development so quickly that, I mean, in 2 years we could see these guys playing at an absolutely ridiculous level. But yeah, when you look at it this way, it's really satisfying to look at, and it makes you, really excited for the season ahead as a Brooklyn Nets fan. Something new to the idea with this second part video is the Nets to-do list, a little segment here. We've got 4 different questions. First and foremost, who gets the final 2-way spot? We will address that very shortly. We need to cut the roster spots from 16 to 15. Basically, the situation with the roster is the fact that we need 15 regular roster spots and 2 2-way contracts. And currently we're at 1 2-way contract and 16 spots. So that means that we need to give 1 two-way contract and get rid of someone. Who that is that's going to get cut is going to be extremely stiff, because they're probably playing with one of the best rosters in a very long time. I mean, in 2014, this roster would have absolutely torn the league apart. But look, yeah, there's a few names that have been thrown around as to who that'll be. DeAndre Bembry has been one. Doumbouya has been one. Apart from that, I think it's really those two that it's going to come down to, because I really think the others I think they have a role in this team in one way or another. The Kyrie Irving and James Harden contracts, obviously we re-signed KD. Kyrie Irving and James Harden haven't done that yet. And what to do with the other draft picks? There's 3 players we haven't signed, or 2 players should I say, Zagorowski and Raekwon Gray. I don't know where their role lies, whether that is in the form of a 2-way contract, they can get signed to a G League deal. There's a few things that they can do there, but they've obviously got to work those out in quick time before training camp comes around, because it is around the corner. And as you can see here, we have a list of names that could get that final 2-way contract. David Duke is another name that could get that 2-way contract. He showed some very good signs in the Summer League. We have Jordan Bowden and Quinndary Weatherspoon, who are also 2 players that were G League listed. They've played with the Long Island Nets. I think they are on the Long Island Nets roster for now. Isaiah Cordinier, he is a French stash. He could get a 2-way spot. And then Reggie Perry, as we mentioned earlier, our draft rights allow us to sign Reggie Perry on a 2-way contract, even though he is a unrestricted free agent. But that's really all that's happened in the last, month or so. Obviously, you're probably expecting a grade based on the title of this video. I think our off-season has improved. I think it has. And I will upgrade it from an A-, which is what I said in the last video, to an A. Especially because we got rid of that DeAndre Jordan contract, but we're also able to manufacture something out of it, even though we got rid of a lot of second-round picks. Doumbouya, is a young prospect. I will be, a bit devastated if we get rid of him, because he probably has a lot of potential that has been undiscovered for the moment. But the fact we were able to get a 20-year-old from offloading a 33-year-old that's, getting 0 game time is just astonishing to me. And Sean Marks has just done a great job, especially with that deal. That highlights his ability in a nutshell to, make something out of nothing and improve the team as a whole, even when it looks like we're going to get absolutely 0. So I think for that alone, it's an A. But even the experienced signings of Aldridge and Millsap, the fact we've been able to secure those, that is not only a benefit to us in the short term, but also in the long term with the development of our younger players, especially with Sharp and Claxton. I think that's going to be absolutely major to our success in, the next couple of years. Even, just the sensible decision making of this team, getting Edwards locked up, Reggie Perry and Alize Johnson, no space, so let's get rid of him. I just like the thinking. It's really good thinking, it's really smart thinking, and it is going to benefit us. But that's really it from me. I hope you enjoyed this second part to the video. Some of you were calling for it, so here it is. Hope you enjoyed it. Not many of you are subscribed to my channel, at least the ones who viewed my last rating the Nets off-season, so make sure you go do that and subscribe. Letting you know also, we will be doing some live streaming of the Brooklyn Nets games. I mean, it'll be a watch along. I won't be actually streaming the game, but I will be showing my live reaction where you guys can come join and we'll talk about the game and whatnot. But yeah, that should be good fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that when the season begins in, just about a month or so, which is really exciting. We may be doing some preseason stuff, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, as I said, hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.